journalist Amelia thought she had seen it all after her investigations at the Whispering House and the cursed O'Malley estate in Shaded Pines. Yet, something inside her continued to seek the unknown, a hunger for the truth behind every dark legend. Her next journey led her to a remote village called Briar Hollow, where the locals spoke of an ancient, long-abandoned church. The villagers called it the Silent Church because no sound, no matter how loud, could penetrate its walls. The villagers said that people who ventured inside the silent church could scream, but not a single noise would escape the stone structure. Those who dared enter returned changed, if they returned at all. Curious and undeterred by warnings, Amelia knew she had to see it for herself. She arrived at Briar Hollow as dusk fell, casting eerie shadows over the cobblestone streets. The villagers avoided eye contact, moving quickly as if something unseen stalked them. In the dimly lit tavern, Amelia overheard whispers about the church. The bell tower had fallen silent centuries ago after a tragic service. Priests had been found dead at the altar, eyes wide open in terror, lips sewn shut with black thread. An old man, sitting by the fire, told Amelia that the church held more than silence, it held souls. Centuries ago, villagers sought refuge inside during a harsh winter, hoping for divine intervention. But food ran out, and desperation took over. The church became a place of horrors. People turned on one another, and the building seemed to close them off from the outside world. The priest, trying to save his flock, performed forbidden rituals. The next morning, the church was sealed, and no sound emerged. Only the priest's mutilated body was found weeks later. Determined to uncover the truth, Amelia set out early the next day to investigate the silent church, a massive, Gothic structure overtaken by vines and moss. Her footsteps echoed as she approached the door, which groaned on rusty hinges as she pushed it open. Inside, the silence was overwhelming. She pulled out her recording equipment, but even her voice seemed distant. The church's interior was untouched by time candles, melted on the altar, hymnals scattered, and an ancient pipe organ sat in the corner. As she neared the altar, Amelia noticed faint symbols etched into the stone slab symbols she had seen before at the O'Malley estate. They were old protection runes, but these felt darker, more sinister. Suddenly, Amelia felt a pressure in the air, as if it had been sucked out of the room. The silence grew heavier, and the floor beneath her vibrated with a low hum. She stumbled back, heart racing, realizing the sound wasn't from her. It was coming from beneath the altar. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Amelia returned the next day with a shovel and flashlights. She had discovered that the land beneath the church was once a burial ground for those accused of witchcraft in the 1600s. Inside the church, she focused on the area around the altar, digging carefully until she uncovered a hidden crypt beneath the stone slabs. The crypt contained a twisted skeleton, its bones contorted unnaturally. In its mouth was a small, rolled-up parchment. As Amelia reached for it, the air around her shifted and the church door slammed shut. The hum returned, louder, and shadows began moving along the walls. Amelia grabbed the parchment and fled as dark figures with hollow eyes formed from the shadows. She barely made it out of the church, gasping as the silence lifted. Back at the tavern, Amelia reviewed her footage. The recordings were corrupted static filled the screen, and the hum from the church echoed faintly in the background. The shadows she had seen were barely visible, just flickers of darkness. But there was one image that chilled her to the bone. At the end of the recording, a shadowy figure with hollow eyes stood in the church doorway, watching her leave. The silent church still stands, and the villagers continue to avoid it. But Amelia knows the truth. Something ancient, something hungry, waits inside, watching anyone who dares to break the silence. Though safe for now, Amelia can't shake the feeling that the silence is following her. The hum that once filled the church now haunts her dreams.